Good, happy Thursday morning, April 30th, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Thursday morning, so let's begin. First up, we're following breaking news in our newsroom right now. Water shut off in Merrimack due to water main break. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Some work can't stop because our communities need you, which is why we're working to keep you working, to help you keep homes and properties maintained, your farm running, and construction moving.
We do have some breaking news out of Merrimack right now. You're urged to avoid the area of Turkey Hill Road because of a large water main break. Merrimack Village District Water Works says that the break happened at 3:45 this morning, and water is shut off to the entire town of Merrimack right now. Crews are on the site to make repairs, and water will be restored as soon as that break is fixed.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And we are hearing that some residents have their water back on now. We will keep you updated on this water main break situation. 6 new deaths attributed to COVID-19. 2 new long-term care facility outbreaks identified. More testing capacity brought online. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Some work can't stop because our communities need you, which is why we're working to keep you working.
1,500 people. That's how many Governor Sununu says he wants DHHS to test every day for COVID-19.
If we can do that, and we have every reason to think that we can meet those goals, that obviously allows us a lot more flexibility and assurance in terms of making any additional steps forward we may want to make with the stay-at-home order.
At a press conference today, Sununu said those future decisions will be driven by data. State health officials also continued to urge sick Granite Staters to get tested to improve that data.
The best place to find out how you can get a test is to call your provider.
In addition to 5 testing locations around the state for people with limited access to a hospital, New Hampshire is also working with Convenient MD to test thousands of people in long-term care facilities and those without providers.
Even if you don't have insurance, you can pick up the phone and call one of your local Convenient MD locations. There's 11 sites.
The state says 11 of 15 Abbott COVID-19 rapid tests have also now been deployed after hundreds of additional testing cartridges came in.
We do expect to be able to deploy the remaining machines in the coming weeks.
The governor says $3 million in CARES Act funding has also been released to New Hampshire homeless shelters. The money, he says, will aid in covering staff stipends, increased costs, and permanent housing searches.
Great opportunity, really allowing the funds to get to where they need to go for exactly the purpose they're designed to.
And those who have been keeping up with the numbers with us, the DHHS commissioner also said today that regular testing summaries, including the total number of people that they are testing as well as the percentage of positives, will now become part of their daily press briefings. We're live in Concord tonight. Tyler Dumont, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And let's take a look at your coronavirus in New Hampshire. Important information. Let's take a look at that now. COVID-19 in New Hampshire. There are 2,054 number of people in New Hampshire who have tested positive for COVID-19. 1,000,000 36,652 number of people in the United States who have tested positive. 66 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 259 number of people who have been hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And 60,846 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. This map of New Hampshire shows you where cases of COVID-19 are in towns and cities of New Hampshire. In Sandwich, 1 to 4 cases of COVID-19. This chart here, new cases each day in New Hampshire in the purple, daily new positive COVID-19 cases in the orange, new hospitalizations, and in the red are the deaths. Why don't the numbers add up? And here's why. Current cases. In the purple, total current COVID-19 cases, and in the orange, current hospitalizations. Cumulative totals. In the purple, total positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, total hospitalizations. In the red, deaths. And in the blue, recovered. This chart here shows you by age group. This chart here shows you by female and male. And this chart here shows you the risk information. This chart here shows you race/ethnicity of cases. And this chart here shows you percent of New Hampshire population. And again, your common symptoms: fever, lack of smell, cough, chills, and difficult breathing. How it spreads, and prevention tips. And be sure to stay with the Riley King Network for the latest of your COVID-19 information. Rochester Walmart store ordered closed after 23 employees test positive for coronavirus. Let's take a listen to that video from WCVB Boston.
Say hello. Say hello.
Good morning. Worcester's Walmart is shut down by order of the city after nearly 24 employees tested positive for COVID-19. The supercenter, located off Route 146, will be thoroughly cleaned today. 23 workers contracted the virus in total, and city officials say some Walmart employees and shoppers at the store were not wearing protective gear.
All of the 400 or so employees that work there need to be retested or tested for the first time before that facility is able to reopen.
Right now, Worcester is in the middle of a coronavirus surge, and health officials do not expect to see a decline in cases until May 8th. We're live in Worcester this morning. Matt Reed, WCVB News Center 5.
Matt.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Maine CDC announces coronavirus outbreak at Portland Tyson food plants. Let's take a listen to that video from WMTW News 8 Maine.
Giving the class of 2020 recognition they deserve. Channel 8 Senior Shoutouts.
Employees wearing face masks could be seen coming in and out of Portland's Tyson food plant on Wednesday afternoon. 8 plant employees have tested positive for COVID-19, and the Maine CDC wants to test all 400 workers. Dr. Nirav Shah shared the 8 employees who have tested positive are not currently working and brought up the possibility of idling the plant. He also says that the company was already following many of their recommendations.
We are working with the facility in order to find a way to idle the plant so that so workers can still show up maybe not do the job that they previously would do, but perhaps something else, and still have an opportunity to discharge our first goal, which is to get everyone tested.
A spokesperson for the company shared, "We are implementing social distancing in our plants based on CDC and industry guidance, such as increasing the distance between workers on the production floor, installing workstation dividers, and barriers in our break rooms." The report of the cases comes a day after President Trump issued an executive order requiring meat processing plants to remain open, while many other plants have become virus hotspots with employees working so close to one another. Tyson's facilities in other states have closed, like their pork plant in Waterloo and another in Indiana. This past weekend, in a full-page ad with the Washington Post, the chairperson for Tyson said the food chain is breaking, and these closures will cause millions of pounds of meat to disappear from store shelves. As for the impact to Portland's plant, the spokesperson says they don't share production information for competitive reasons. Reporting from Portland, I'm Mary Kate Mannion for WMTW News 8.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. U.S. stock features rise after solid tech earnings. Facebook up more than 10%. Features contracts tied to the major U.S. stock index were higher in pre-market trading Thursday after both Facebook and Microsoft issued better than expected revenue projections in their earnings reports. Malls adapt for social distancing as states begin to reopen. Let's take a listen to that video from NBC News.
Tonight, the American economy is shrinking fast. Driving that is a plunge in consumer spending, plummeting more than it has since 1980. That is putting renewed pressure on retailers trying to stay in business.
And that's why malls like Beverly Center are implementing new changes, hoping to bring customers back in and help them feel safe again. Once you're inside the mall, you can expect to see new decals on the floor to help you maintain your social distance from other shoppers. And you'll also have to maintain that social distance on escalators and in elevators.
We also are going to move our furniture around so it's naturally distanced by 6 feet or maybe even more.
At some malls, there will be specific doors for entering and exiting, as well as signs laying out which direction you should be walking in. Across 8 states, dozens of outlets and malls will begin opening on Friday. Some of the changes you could see: hand sanitizer stations, face mask handouts, and voluntary temperature checks. Inside the stores themselves, floors will be marked to keep shoppers 6 feet apart. Common areas like food courts will have less seating. No more reusable items like trays, utensils, or cups. And no more communal water fountains or play areas. In bathrooms, every other sink could be taped off to encourage more space between people.
There will be more deep cleaning of high-traffic areas like this information desk and new measures to help keep employees safe.
It's the fear of the unknown, but we have to tackle it together. We have to understand and be flexible when customers come back and be ready to do what we can to make them feel safe.
On Monday, Starbucks will begin reopening more of its stores. Workers are going to be wearing masks and gloves and have their temperatures taken before each shift. But mostly it'll be to-go and drive-through only. No sitting inside just yet.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for...
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And thank you for watching this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.